Administration now says they plan on cracking down on migrant child labor. This announcement comes after a recent New York Times article that showed children were working in some of the most dangerous jobs throughout the U.S. During the House Judiciary Committee's meeting in Yuma, Arizona last week on our migrant influx, no Democrats even showed up. Congressman Tom McClintock, who is on the Immigration Subcommittee of the Judiciary Committee, says border security is a national security priority, period. Congressman McClintock is joining us now to talk more about border security. Great to see you again, Congressman.
Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
Well, tell us about your five-step plan to tackle President Biden's wide-open borders.
Well, two things have to be done. First of all, there's no substitute for enforcement. Donald Trump enforced the laws, and we had seen illegal immigration slow to a trickle. We had the Remain in Mexico policy in place that was stopping phony asylum claims. The border wall was nearing completion, and ICE was actually enforcing court-ordered deportations. On Inauguration Day, Joe Biden reversed all of these policies and began an unprecedented illegal mass migration on a scale that neither our country nor any country has seen before. And that's where we are now. So first, enforcement. We've got to restore the Remain in Mexico policy. We've got to finish the wall. And we've got to start enforcing court-ordered deportations. There are about 1.2 million final deportation orders that are simply being ignored by this administration. And then we've got to start tightening up on the laws that have allowed this to occur. That starts with tightening up the eligibility for asylum claims. With respect to the article that just came out in the Times, first of all, something that's not exactly new ground. We've known about this all along, that the problem is the administration doesn't care.
But what the article in the Times, I think, did, and I'll give him credit for this, Congressman, what the article in the Times did a good job of doing was really just telling the stories of these migrant kids. You know, we talked about a little girl who's packaging cereal and how dangerous that job is, a 13-year-old boy looking for day labor construction jobs. And you want to make sure this E-Verify, we've heard so much about E-Verify actually putting more onus on the employers to verify the immigration status of these migrants. Why don't we hear more about that? That seems so important to solving this problem.
Yeah. Well, it is. Two of the bills that directly affect this particular issue involve, first of all, requiring E-Verify. That is a very simple process to determine whether an individual actually has a right to work in this country. Federal law forbids the employment of illegal immigrants of any age, and E-Verify would assure that it's being rigorously enforced. The other thing is to treat unaccompanied alien children from countries other than Mexico and Canada as we do for Canadian and Mexican children. Canadian and Mexican children are returned at the border to their homes. But if they're not from Canada or Mexico, they're admitted into this country without even lifting a finger to try to get them safely home to their own countries. Yeah. There are about 320,000 unaccompanied minors who've now been admitted since Biden took office.
And a much bigger, a much larger number than what we saw under President Trump in his last 2 years in office.
Yeah, I see, and there's just a lot of steps that could be taken that common sense would say if you should do this. It's not happening.